over Crewe and Natwich. And that wraps up our third game of the day, and we've still got plenty more to come. Well, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box, and we'll now move on to our fourth game of the day. So don't go anywhere, still plenty more touch rugby still to come. It's set to be a cracking afternoon.
That's my idea. Yeah, what I need to work out is before I
And the hooter goes for our next round here at a very sun-drenched Oxford Rugby Club just next to the A34. people heading south towards their maybe an early summer holiday, and if they are going to be enjoying the sun on their way down, and hopefully they've got air conditioning in their cars, which we don't have in the commentary box today, but after last weekend or 2 weekends ago in Manchester, we're not complaining. CSSC 1 are playing Chester Cheetahs. CSSC 1 are playing from left to right as we're looking in the blue. Chester Cheetahs in the red, and I'm joined by George Miller from the victorious CSSC 2 team last time out against Crewe Nantwich. We saw them play just a couple of minutes ago. George, first game of the day for you. How tough was it?
The heat was probably a factor that you don't normally expect in England. First game out, we've got a lot of players at CSSC, so it's always a slightly different team. So it was finding our feet with the combinations that we had, running hard against another hard-running Crewe Nantwich team. They ran at us all game, made it very difficult. So yeah, it was a tough one. It's good to come out with a win. Lots
of youngsters in that Crewe Nantwich team. Did the experience win out in the end, do you think?
I think possibly yes. We had a few more older heads and older bodies. You could feel it a lot. They ran us a lot. They can all step. They can all pass. It's terrifying. But maybe the experience of a few more games and tournaments sort of bore out at the end.
CSSC ones. We saw them win first time out in their opening round of the game in their opening round of the weekend against Hot Custard.
Yeah, I think it was a long ball. Might have been from Henry Stratford or Chris Wall at the death that won it for us.
Yeah, it was a fantastic finish off by Bex Maxwell in the left corner.
On the ball just then, this is Lois Lau linking up with Bex.
Just in terms of, as we see Chris Wall take the touch and CSSC put some pace on it, coming all the way over to the right, just goes wide there.
Can't quite thread the ball past the shoulder of the Chester player. He's done quite well to mirror her winger and keep the score from happening.
Alexandra Willis there, the ball just eluded her. Just the bounce that you get going into the rest of the day when you finish off a game like that and you're opening one.
Oh yeah.
Quantify that?
It's it just gives you a bit of positive energy coming into the next one. So your tails are up before you even start, and yeah, it's something that can't really be measured, but you definitely get it. If you come off the back of a loss, then in the box before the game, you're thinking the conversations are sort of, we lost that one, we've got to try and lift it here. It's never quite as easy to sort of respond as
CSSC intercepts the Cameron Burkitt pass.
Nick Southgate looking for the support that doesn't seem to be there.
Slowed up nicely, lets the players catch up with him though. Chris Wall
feeding back into Evan Michaels.
So youth and experience in two players just there. Lois Lau takes it in, gets it back to Chris Wall. And it comes to Nick Southgate. Takes the touch. Cameron Burkitt shuts it down. It was his pass that put CSSC in this position. Southgate feeds it off to Lau.
There's a hammer.
Evan Michaels.
A very popular play at the moment. I think that might be a penalty. Hot Rogers blowing the whistle.
Hot Rod, the referee.
Hot Roger Neighbours.
Hot Rog.
Yeah.
So I thought you said Hot Rod there for a minute.
Hot Rod. Maybe we should make it that. His quality ref used to play for the Wales Men's Open and has now moved to London and sort of switched his skills to refereeing.
It's a real shame there as for Paul Morris there for Chester. Just can't keep the ball alive. Roger Neighbours has the least Welsh accent you can imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless it's New South Welsh.
Yeah, New South Welsh. Closely related. They still have a positive inflection.
Here comes Claire Waddell. Sorry, one of the key playmakers. That's definitely get away with one there to CSSC. That ball looked to be Tom Brady-esque. Coming back in from Henry Stratford, but they get away with it. Play carries on.
It's difficult to see a ball that close to the ruck when the refs are back on the defensive line.
Claire Waddell gets shut down.
But definitely lucky to get away with that one. Henry with his dancing feet.
Yeah, we saw him set up a score in the opening game with that. He's got this uncanny ability to have the dancing feet and the ability to communicate with the referee at the same time. Is that something that you can train, or is this, we'll come back to that in a second as we see Chester just putting the pedal to the metal a little bit through Nicola Wise.
That's a solid drive up the middle. They're going to set a really good platform to attack the line on fourth touch. CSSC have done well to slow it down.
Mixing and matching it a little bit though to Chester, and they're on the board.
That's a great score.
Through Nicola Wise.
Chopped her hole really well. Dragged her opposite number across and then chopped back in to get the ball in acres of space.
In terms of the communication for CSSC in defence, a little bit of a breakdown, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. The middles will be a bit disappointed with that. We never like to be scored in the middle of the pitch. If you're going to give them a space, you want to make it the hardest pass that they can give. So there'll definitely be some conversations about shoring up that sort of hole in the middle.
So rare opportunity for Chester so far in this game, but they've made the most of it. CSSC won't be losing their composure though, as Chris Wall takes it in. Plenty of experience in this lineup, plenty of England seniors players amongst the various upper age groups. Having that core through the club, how does it help everybody else? And in terms of when you're training down at Crystal Palace and getting newbies involved in the sport, how do they all help with this? As we just see, come back to that in a second. Lois Lau keeps the ball alive. Great hands there from Nick Southgate.
Yeah, off the shoelaces.
Chris Wall setting things up. Mr. Unflappable on the middle of the field. Don't ever really see him lose his temper.
Oh, middle's claiming a touch.
And that touch is given on Evan Michaels. Gets the ball back from Chris Wall. Ooh. Michaels in.
No.
Sorry, nice. Nick Southgate. Dives.
Touch was in. Shutting winger made it.
Good defence there from Chester. Left the player open, but made the all-important touch as Evan Michaels takes it in. Southgate comes back in. Lois Lau.
Oh, off to Naomi Fernet.
So close.
Winger held her space well.
So close for CSSC 1 to tie things up, but Chester escape and come away. So we're just talking before about the influence that the elder players and their international experience can have on the rest of the club.
Yeah, I think obviously playing the sport on the international level, particularly with the recent World Cup, it really lifts your game individually. Unfortunately, of course, it means that everyone runs slightly different plays, and they're used to running moves with a team that knows exactly what you're doing. So whilst you've got a lot of experience and a lot of ability, a lot of tricks in the playbook, you've got to be able to tone that down and sort of and cater for all abilities that turn up at Crystal Palace on a Saturday.
Lois Lau takes the ball up to the CSSC left. Chris Wall comes back onto the field. He keeps it up on that left touchline. Claire Woodell.
15 metres out, they're going to look to strike here. Andy Dyer for Henry Stratford is going to have a dive.
Fifth touch.
I don't think the link said he didn't make it. He's actually walking off. I think Chester think the score was good.
Great honesty there from Chester, and CSSC tied things up. Lovely score, but the best thing about that is the honesty that comes in from the defence there.
Yeah, it's an honesty game. When everything comes down to something as easy to miss as a touch, it's really important to have honesty, and I think CSSC will appreciate that from Chester, and it makes for a far more friendly game.
And also, just as Chester look to strike back, it also means that if there's another margin call coming up later on, it's more likely to be believed by the attacking team, do you think?
Yeah, 100%. If you know that a team are honest and ready to put their hands up if they didn't make it, then you know on the flip side that when they put the hand up, they have made it.
So Chester, Cameron Burkett, one of their key playmakers.
Setting up for a sweep. Collins put quite a strong touch in there, really tried to slow it down. Andy Dyer's made the touch on the scooper, and Roger Neighbours is having none of that.
And that's the ball thrown away. So Roger Neighbours having absolutely nothing to do with that. Marches Chester Cheetahs back 10 metres, and CSSC will restart with a penalty. You could see the frustration there on the Chester attackers. Bex Maxwell feeds Lois Lau. Third touch coming up for CSSC. Chris Wall
dancing around there. Evan Michaels slowing things down. We're 10 metres out.
Have you ever seen Chris lose his temper?
It happens very rarely.
Evan Michaels, is he getting way through there?
Oh yeah, he has.
He has indeed. I think there was a little bit of explanation there from the Chester players.
Slightly anticlimactic, but another good score. I think they were probably still had their heads down from giving the penalty away at the other end, and you've got to play touch with a clear head. It's unlike a contact sport like rugby, although it seems to be very similar. In rugby, you can sort of channel aggression into tackles that you make and the physicality of it. With touch, you've got to maintain a level of cool.
And more importantly, it puts CSSC 2-1 up for the first time, midway through the first half. As you say, it's maybe that, again, that little bit of experience coming in and playing its part, but Chester.
Yeah, I think it looks like Liam Lawton isn't playing this weekend. I don't know whether he hurt himself in round one, but he's played a big part in developing Chester Cheetahs as a club, and they'll definitely miss him as an experienced player.
Yeah, do you look in London, obviously London's being a traditional hotbed for the sport, you know, CSSC, big club, Hot Custard, Galaxy, Scorpions, you know, we've seen all those clubs play here on Field 1 so far this morning, but you look up in the northwest, obviously Wigan have done really, really well. Not here this weekend. I think they've picked up a few injuries over the course of the first two rounds, but you know they're developing massively. Manchester, Chester, Crewe. You know, you're looking at the northwest and going, it's fantastic to see touch developing in that part of the world.
Yeah, definitely. It used to be London, which has obviously helped a huge amount by the Antipodeans who come over and bring a wealth of experience and skill. So it has been a few years where, well, look at Nationals, it's been dominated by South East Sharks and Taipans, and then it was 2 years ago that Northwest Blades won it, and from then they've just gone strength to strength.
And the Midlands Tigers as well, you know, they won a few at the seniors and masters levels as Chester come through the middle, through Alistair Clark. Paul Morris now, and back to Clark.
Going direct. They've slowed it down about 15 metres out, which means they're not as likely to get the defence scored pulled to the line for the...
And the try scorer Nicola West heavily involved in that as well, but CSSC shut it down. Colin Scott feeds Chris Wall, back to Scott, off the floor. Lois Lau, Bex Maxwell shouting where she wants it. Lau just keeps on trucking up the left touchline.
A good 15 metres there, feeds Claire Waddell coming into the middle. There's a latch touch, making it on the far side middle, trying to pull them across, really tire them out. And then Henry's going to have a scoop through.
And wins a penalty as well for deviation. Great bit of play, as you can see from the reaction from Adam Brimelow. He's not happy about that. But
it's very hard not to deviate when Henry Stratford's running at you. You never know which direction his next step's going to be.
Stratford gets the ball back, looking for support. He can't score, he's the half. Claire Waddell takes it in. But is it good to be able to defend against that in training?
It is. I don't.
Or
Henry,
not defend against it.
Yeah, try to defend against it. Henry's a difficult player. There aren't many players like him. You've got a lot of people who sort of have the goose step and the change of direction like that. I don't think there are many, if any, people who run quite his style, which is definitely a bonus to have on your team.
As CSSC stretch the play to the left, dive goes in. It's good for the sideline referee, and CSSC have one more on the board. Fantastic score there from Andrew Dyer, diving in on the left link channel. You can see Chester maybe letting their heads drop a little bit. The reaction from that, this almost goes back to that penalty they conceded a few minutes ago on the CSSC line.
Well, at that point it was either level or they were down by one, and the game's all to play for. And then a penalty, a drive up, a quick score, and suddenly you've got a lot of a hill to climb. They're really going to want to get up to the line and put a bit of a threat on here.
Cameron Burkett gets the ball wide out to the left. Lovely piece of skill getting the ball off the deck with a scoop and then a change of direction. Great from the young man there. Fifth touch, asking for offside.
No, that was Colin Scott called the touch and then said no, I didn't make it. Another honesty call, so it's going to be a penalty.
As your teammate Keisha McLean brings an umbrella up, saves you.
There you go.
No, it's okay. You keep hold of it. You're spending more time out in the sun than I am.
Oh, thanks.
And some much needed supplies.
Oh, brilliant.
Great up here in the commentary box, but just as your teammates concede a score, it's exactly what Chester needed.
Yeah, it is. Better for the game, not as good for CSSC. What does that make the score?
That makes it 3-2 to CSSC.
And back to a one point game.
So
And CSSC are going to have to lift it.
4.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's Andrew Dyer, try scorer, looking for support. It's the shallowest in-goal areas that we've
Jason
got.
Waddell looking to his sideline. I think the touch was in.
It's the shallowest in-goal areas that we've had so far in the Belief Elite National Touch Series this year. How does, in terms of from a practical sense, how difficult does it make it?
It definitely gives you a lot less time to look for a free player if you scoop through. So if you've got a big scooping game to sort of get a fast person into the back of the box and everyone else finds some space, it definitely cuts you space down here.
Which is something that we're finding a lot. A lot of teams have that ability to scoot through the middle. We've seen Cameron Burkitt for Chester, Chris Wall we saw just there as well.
Great defence from Chris Wall, making the touch on both players there.
Inspector Gadget style.
Longer arms than you expect. But no, Chester through. Andy Dyer not making the touch. Oh no, he did.
He's made it, he's claiming it. There's no argument there from Adam Brimelow. Chris Wall takes it up, Claire Waddell.
CSSC subbing here. Variations on a theme on the subbing plays.
Yeah, they're making lots of meters up their left touchline. Chester will want to be shutting that down in the second half. Lois Loud takes the ball in. This time Evan Michaels finds Colin Scott. Tom Hall lurking, going left and right, trying to stretch and create some space. But play goes through the middle, shut down by Chester. 6-touch turnover. CSSC leading 3-2. The latter stages of the first half in this elite pool match. Every team's got 3 games today, and then it breaks up into a knockout stage tomorrow. And it's been a really good competition for CSSC 1 this year. You know, I've made one final, made a semi-final, both times pushing BBR the whole way. Is the feeling around the club and around the team very positive off the back of those 2 tournaments?
Fairly buoyant. I think what shows a lot of the club is the disappointment for losing both of those games against BBR. So, I mean, a couple of years ago we might have said, oh, we played BBR, they beat us, it's kind of what we expected. And that is definitely not the mood in the camp anymore. There were games that we could have won, and all of the players are disappointed too and itching to have another go.
Almost the coulda, woulda, shouldas in Manchester 2 weeks ago. Same thing there for Adam Brimelow. Should have completed that interception, lets the ball hit the floor, or the ball hits the floor. Unfortunately, because there was the game against Wigan as well, which ended up as a draw where CSSC were leading, and then that final second disappointment against BBR in the semi-finals when it was the score after leading by a couple and the score after the hooter. But CSSC leading by 1. Chris Wall takes the touch, pulling Chester out. Tom Hall gets the ball wide. Evan Michaels. Wide it goes to Bex Maxwell. Great shutting down by the Chester defence. CSSC were doing everything right there. 5th touch, one more play. Chris Wall bringing play round, looking for support, gets it. In it comes to Lois Lau. Chester shut it down. Do they? Yes, they do. Pass away after
I think it's going to be a late pass penalty.
And that's exactly what is given by Hot Rog the ref. In literal and metaphorical on today, because it's the temperature gauge is nudging 30.
Yeah, it's warm out there. It's on a scale of 1 to Malaysia, I'd probably give it a 6.
You know what the big difference is? Lack of humidity.
Yes. Yeah, and you forget how bad it was.
As Chester.
Chris is shut in there. Oh, scramble defence from Tom Hall and Evan Michaels. Managed to prevent the score, the leveller that would have been from Chester.
That is Alistair Clark just getting shut down there. That is an opportunity to rue there for the Chester Cheetahs. That should have gone. They had the players over, they had the space, just couldn't finish it off as CSSC scrambled. They're leading by 1 at the halfway point. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're just going to get a little glass of water and we'll see you very shortly.
I got into touch because my eldest son, Clark Hobson, he was really into it, raved about it, and he achieved England standard. I thought, well, I could maybe do that. So I got into it through Nottingham Touch Club 3 or 4 years ago. Following my wife and both my daughters into it, after they'd been to a taster session there, they encouraged me to join them and enjoy playing touch.
I play touch because I love the sport. I love particularly playing as part of a team. I play with several teams, my club CSSC, regionals and the England's 27s, and I love every team for different regions, and I love working specifically for a team. It gets the best out of me. I get the best feeling for it. I love working hard to develop others so that we can all get the best out of it, and it's just the most amazing feeling.
Touch because it's a game where you can play 14-year-olds and 60-year-olds together. You can play men and women, so you could have a daughter and a mum playing together, and it's a really good fun to play.
Apparently, according to our main commentator, our lead commentator, Brad Hope, the temperature has indeed hit 30, surpassed it. What are we up to, Brad? Did you think? 31 when he last looked. Midway through the day. It's plenty more games of touch still to come. Just running through what we've got in this particular block. We've got Oxford coming up at 1:20 against London Scorpions, and then at 2:10 we've got Cambridge Hornets against CSSC 2. So you're back on this field, George. Yeah, George Miller joining me from the CSSC club. Victorious over Crewe and Nantwich in their first game.
Emphatic.
Bit tougher coming up against Cambridge in the second, do you think?
Yeah, they have a frightening mix of experience and young pace. It's going to be a tough game.
And then there'll be more games coming up later on in the day as we hit another stream from 3 o'clock, just blocks of 3 today, and tomorrow we hit into the knockout stages. I nearly lost the Chester team sheet there. That would have been a bit of a faux pas with 30 seconds to go until play resumes. As you say, it's on a scale of Malaysia. It was about a 6, you're saying, in terms of your playing out there, just to fool people in at home who weren't necessarily watching the World Cup. How hard was it?
It was tough. There's nothing really that can prepare you for it, and one of the hardest parts was taking on enough fluid to stay hydrated and not lose around a kilogram whilst playing. But then, of course, you've got things that you don't really think about, like the sweat just pours off you into your hands and makes it really hard to catch the ball. So we all used handball glue to keep the ball in our hands.
Ball doesn't stick there for CSSC in the first attack of the second half. Hits the deck as Chris Wall tries to find the players outside. It's extraordinarily humid out there in Putrajaya, just between Kuala Lumpur City and Kuala Lumpur International Airport. It's a lovely hotel, I have to say as well. It's to have that to go back to after the rigours of the day, and then the pool and the aircon and the setup that Pippa Burke. Big shout out to Pippa Burke and to Greg Cropper for organising that as well.
Yeah.
You know, as a player, how vital was that as the
that
competition
was
wore on?
Absolutely brilliant. It was my first tournament with England, so I've got nothing to compare it to, and now I'm expecting that for anything else I do. The rooms were excellent. The breakfast was excellent. We didn't have to think about the food, and you could just go down in the morning and get your chicken curry pizza, fruits pizza.
Oh yeah, it was the great thing of being able to alternate cuisines of the world.
Yes.
As far as the breakfast. So chicken curry noodles at 6:15 in the morning was.
All tastes were catered for, and whatever sort of prep you wanted, you could have. It was brilliant.
As Chester taking the ball into the CSSC half for the first time in this second half.
Andy Dyer, low dive, makes it on the foot of the Chester player.
And they've left the ball away.
And Rog having none of it again. He is not a man who messes around with that sort of penalty.
Yeah, we saw something similar in the first half. I think it was a little bit of hot-headedness from Chester Cheetahs.
Yeah, it's slowing the game down, and a quick game's a good game. And Rog is obviously living by that mantra.
Chris Wall takes the ball in. Nick Southgate gets it off the floor, finds Evan Michaels heading off to Paris with the Junior Touch Championships this summer coming up. Fifth touch, last play for CSSC. They're up by 1. Now they're up by 2. Michaels comes off the link position, comes inside. Chester's defence opens up wide, and CSSC are ahead by 2. They've done exactly what they needed to do. Held out at the end of the first half. Scored at the start of the second half. Great fillip there for the Londoners.
Yeah, they're going to be happy with that to restore their 2-point advantage early in the second half. A little bit of a cushion, and now they're going to try and keep the pressure up, keep Chester from scoring at this off this tap off, and sort of capitalise from that.
In hindsight, that defence right at the end of the first half that's going to prove to be crucial. Do you think?
I think it will. If you're level at half time, it's similar. It's a similar sort of psychological advantage or disadvantage as winning the previous game by 1. You've just got that little bit of positivity, a little bit of a spring in your step. Things are going your way, and you're more likely to try things when your tails are up like that.
Adam Brimelow calls Alistair Clark. We were talking about the dancing feet of Henry Stratford in the first half from CSSC. This time it's Adam Brimelow from Chester showing his own jiving skills.
That was quality, a really good individual score.
And you can see Colin Scott left flat on the deck as the space is created. And it's back down to a 1-score margin.
Evan Michaels back on with Nick Southgate, the pair who made the last score happen.
Claire Waddell
driving in for the second.
Michaels gets it off the floor to Southgate. Chris Wall is this time hanging out in the link position.
Striking
now gets the ball.
Touch.
Finds Michaels.
Touch was in.
Goes in for the dive. This time Chester alert to the pressure and no score.
4th touch, 5th coming. They're going to have another strike at the line here.
Waddell takes it in. Southgate finds Wall. Out it goes wide to Bex Maxwell. Back to Waddell. And 6th touch and turnover. Interesting there with Chris is that he started off in the link position for a lot of that attack, and then all of a sudden pops up in the mids. Having that, when you've got the experienced players who can rotate in between those two positions, those two playmaking positions, makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. He's He's an extremely experienced, extremely talented player. He's great to have leading a team.
But we're seeing that across the board. We've seen it a lot with Sadie Meakin, for example, at Nottingham.
Yes.
The Women's Open. We saw it with Leah Cuthbertson as well, with Hot Custard in the first game. You know, having the players from especially from the Women's Open team and the Women's 27s who are used to playmaking, to be able to, and we see it in you know, in the CSSC team here with Lois Lau and
Claire.
players like that. And
Claire
Waddell
also in the Women's 27s. And Bex Maxwell from the Women's 35s.
Lois Lau takes the touch. Colin Scott.
Stepping back, feeding out to Henry Stratford. Keeping the ball alive, and they've suddenly found the 5 metre line. Feeding Colin Scott back, he's having a dive. Alice Watchorn doesn't want that sign there, get it out the way. And then give the score.
I was just thinking back to, I think, the opening day of the Euros last year, where
I think one of the refs disappeared over it.
Nicholas van der Rit, in one of the opening games, he likes to give his scores from way past the dead ball line.
He does. You know he's going to award the score when he disappears past the dead ball of the next pitch.
Into the next county sometimes. Except that at Nottingham Highfield Centre, over he went. The advertising boards gives everybody a good laugh. Sorry, Nick, if you're watching, but we still have to have a chuckle at that, even a year on. Euros returning to the same venue next year.
And the year after, I've heard.
Well, we've got 2022 has yet to be confirmed, but next year it's an international series, so you know, teams coming from further afield, the likes of South Africa and Japan, I think, have expressed an interest, the USA as well, in terms of the growth of international touch. How important is that from a player's perspective?
Oh, it's brilliant. Playing in the World Cup, getting the experience against teams that play in slightly different ways is absolutely brilliant. It's lifted everyone's game. Everyone who played in the World Cup, you can watch them, but then bringing the experience back to the players who weren't there, and it's getting to the point where before it was a few years ago, have we got the numbers for these teams, and now you've got to be a seriously good player to be even in the squad, let alone in the training squad, let alone into the final tournaments. A lot more strength and depth.
And we've seen that with the youngsters you're talking about coming up. You know, we're talking about Cambridge Hornets coming up for your next game. Sam Missin is one. He's heading off to the Junior Touch Championships as well.
Yes.
This summer was part of the mixed open team. Will Lupton from Nottingham. Both of those players you see come on in leaps and bounds this year in the Elite National Touch Series.
Yeah.
Off the back of the experiences, so showcasing exactly what you were talking about. So we'll see Missin playing for Cambridge in a couple of hours' time.
Yeah, and we've got Evan Michaels here, who is going to be an integral part of the boys 18s at JTC in France, but was also in the training squad for the men's open leading up to the World Cup.
And Michaels will get to restart this play with Bex Maxwell after just loses control of it. Loss of control there from Alistair Clark. CSSC coming forward, still leading by 1.
Lau with the show and the go, making an extra couple of metres.
It's interesting.
Bodies
now,
on the floor.
Yeah, CSSC were looking to, in the first half, they were making plenty of metres up the touchline closest to their sub box. Lau, one of those players who regularly make 15-20 metres. Chester have actively looked to shut that down in the second half, it seems.
Yeah, they'll try, but CSSC will probably have a variation on the sub play that sort of attacks the player that has been making the saving touch.
Henry Stratford gets the ball back. We've seen his dancing feet, finds Andrew Dyer on the touch, but he's just getting touched on the way through. There's a forward pass there given by Alice Watchorn, and Chester will restart with a penalty, but CSSC shutting down Chester very well in their own half. Third touch coming. They've yet to cross the halfway line.
Or the 10-metre line.
Nice halfway line coming up.
That is the halfway.
Yeah. But Chester keeping the ball alive really well to make those extra 10 metres. Fourth touch coming. As Chester are trying to.
Stratford makes fourth.
Yeah, you can see them actively encouraging CSSC to make the touch, but CSSC not biting. Henry Stratford then makes the touch. On comes the scoop.
Andrew Dyer likes making his touches whilst horizontal.
We've seen it with the scoring. He definitely doesn't like to make touches standing up, does he, Andrew Dyer? and CSSC work some subbing moves. Dyer takes it on. He'll get off straight away. Lois Lau
trying to find the middle.
Takes play on. Gets the ball back, does Lau.
I think that's come off a Chester player who may have hurt himself, might be being dramatic.
Interesting one. Their ball rebounded back from a Chester player, but I think they've recovered it.
But I think it looked like he went over the dead ball line. So yeah, the ball is coming back to CSSC.
So an interesting one. Did you see the CSSC restart with
a penalty? No, roll ball.
A roll ball. If you're going to be harsh on it, there should have been a turnover for an incorrect restart, but Chester were just gathering themselves at the time as Tom Hall takes the touch. Lois Lau feeds it back to Hall, and now Chris Wall finds Lois Lau, finds Evan Michaels, back to Lau.
Back to Wall.
Just letting the ball do the work, and now stretching this play. Lau in the middle position. Tom Hall. So we see Chris Wall lining up in the right link. Expect him to come in and to make a bit of a wrap around Evan Michaels as well. We've seen his pace already this game in terms of with a score. Lau and Hall, a little bit of interplay. Here comes Wall off his link position. Out it goes to Bex Maxwell. This time it goes to ground and a restart for Chester.
They need the pressure of the hooter.
Evan Michaels showing a bit of physicality this time at Adam Brimelow.
Refs having none of it.
It's an interesting lineup there with the two mids just dropping out to link positions. We've been talking about that before, the mixing and matching with the ball players. That's something you guys work on a lot in training.
Sorry, what was that?
In terms of the mids dropping out into links for particular moves, that's something that you guys work a lot on in training?
Well, depending on, in defence is this, or attack?
No, in attack.
In attack, yeah, so you basically, in mixed touch, it's about, you've got obviously 3 guys, 3 girls on the pitch, and you're trying to make a mismatch, and that's often, though not exclusively, getting one of your really fast boys running towards the girls who are not always as fast as them. Obviously, doesn't take into account how strong the defenders are, and particularly the girls at CSSC are often defensive players in their single gender teams.
That time it's the speed coming on from Chester's Adam Brimelow to tie things up. So CSSC are going to have to push it all the way to the final hooter, it seems. 10 minutes to play in the second half of this elite pool match.
So yeah, we've got Claire Waddell, who's a great strike dumper in here. She'll make the driving touch, and then we've got the faster boys ball playing, and Claire, who can also definitely knows her way to the line, getting the close balls from the scooper.
Henry Stratford was the player getting touched there, and as the half, it's the turnover. Nicola Wise takes the touch again. She's scored in the first half. Chester this time getting frustrated. They know they're having a bit of a chat there. Hot Rog, the ref, taking no feedback at all, taking no back chat. He's having a bit of a chat there with Cam Burkett as CSSC restart. Chester, having done the hard work of scoring, they were looking to drive again, but turn the ball over. We saw that a couple of times earlier on in the half. That time CSSC couldn't really make much of it. This time, can they go back in front once again? Chris Wall, playmaker. Mr. Unflappable finds Evan Michaels, the youngster. Back to Wall. Michaels diving for the line. Cam Burkett makes the touch on Michaels.
Definitely wise to that, the defence. Good defence in the middle from Chester there. They've held them out, and CSSC not getting rattled yet, but perhaps wanting to get to the line and get over. It's been quite a while since there's been a score in this game.
Yeah, I think they scored right at the start of the second half to make it a 2-score margin, but Chester have pulled 2 back to tie this up.
At 4-3 at the moment.
as Evan Michaels just gets touched. Just confirm that up in just a second as Chris Wall goes for the line. Evan Michaels.
Chris Wall having another strike at the line.
Dives in from distance. The Chester player has not made the line.
Ball was down first.
Looking for confirmation was Ben Grinter, but Alice Watchorn has absolutely no hesitation whatsoever in awarding that score.
The ref's got brilliant positioning there. She's right in front of where the ball was put down. She definitely had the best view. Got the sign out the way so she could get herself to the back of the box.
That makes it 6-4 to CSSC.
Back to a 2-point game.
Extending that lead to 2 once again. Apologies for the poor maths. As if my old maths teacher, Mr. Pynchon,
Long ball.
from when I was
and it's unfortunately gone to ground.
For my old maths teacher, Mr. Pynchon, I think all of those times of mental arithmetic classes which he forced us into when I was in year 8 and year 9 many years ago, I think he'd be disgusted by the fact that my adding up was my adding up of one at a time. CSSC leading by 2, doesn't matter. With all of that now, as
Henry Stratford making some serious meters up the side there.
Yeah, CSSC really need another one to kill this off. I think that 2's still a little bit of a squeaky bum time, given that Chester have struck from long range a couple of times.
They have done.
Colin Scott has the ball.
Colin Scott gets through the middle.
It's the 5th touch, and he runs out. We're talking in the first half about the narrow end zones, about the short end zones, and that time we see that put into practice as Colin Scott puts his foot on the whitewash, and Chester
doesn't know his own pace. Comes up quicker than you expect it.
But it does, in terms of practical distance, we're talking about the scooping game, is that it does really eliminate that out of an attack. I mean, we saw in Banbury in the first game, in the first round, is that you had end zones of, 7 metres or so, something like that, plenty of space to play with, and this time it's a lot shallower. It's about,
it definitely makes a difference. It means that the attacking players off the ball need to make to evade their defenders a lot quicker.
As the ball hits the deck from Adam Brimelow.
Players are looking a lot hotter here.
But it's going to be something which will obviously you guys presumably will be talking about in the build-up to your next game, and in terms of just altering the patterns now you're used to the pitch dimensions.
Oh, definitely. We'll take into everything into account. The guys are probably over watching the last game back, so we can do some proper analysis. I don't know if the team we're playing next have already been on YouTube, whether we can analyse that.
Cambridge Hornets have not so far this weekend. This is their first game.
It's a shame. We'd have got our analytical team on that straight away.
Coming up though, in the next game, we have on the far side, you can see them getting ready to warm up London Scorpions in their new threads. They're showing them off on Facebook.
Yeah,
a little bit of funky music.
It's a nice kit. I think they've gone with a different brand this time. Will Sericold is their kit man, and you've got to say it for them, they always have a range of outfits to look good in, and the touch skills to back it up. We've missed the Scorpions at the first 2 rounds of NTS, so it'll be good to see them welcome them back this round.
Although they're missing the men's and women's Opens captain Dom Tripp and Zan Hudson aren't here this weekend. It's a couple of their big playmakers, but they've still got plenty going round.
They have. They'll definitely miss them. Dom and Zan, both outrageously good players. They can make something from nothing, and also have an ability to make the players they're playing with even better.
And indeed, Will Sericold himself is out with an ankle injury at the minute, and we wish him a speedy recovery. And we're going to be seeing the Scorpions a couple more times today, so they're playing Oxford next up. And then we've got them against BBR, the reigning champions, at 10-4. Those games are all to come. George Miller, thank you very much for your company. Go and sit inside some air conditioning, do your analysis. We'll see you on field 1 later on. And coming up in just a couple of minutes' time, as I say, we've got London Scorpions against Oxford. With you shortly. Don't go away.
We use the game momentum. The 3-man drive includes 3 players, a half, the person who dumps the ball and the runner. These 3 players will alternate between themselves in order to create each person's role within that 3-man drive. So it'll start with a roll ball. The half will then pass the ball off the deck to the first runner. This first runner will then become the person who dumps the ball, initiating the touch on the defender, for then the person who previously dumped the ball to become the half. A 4-man drive is a 3-man drive, but with another person. The 4-man drive can also be referred to as arrows, and what we're looking to do is the exact same principle as a 3-man drive, but just to add a secondary option of the runner. So you've got 1 runner on the left, 1 runner on the right, and the half will wrap around whichever way they pass the ball, becoming the runner. The best way to complete a 4-man drive or an arrows platform is to hit one side, i.e. to pass the ball to the left, and then to pass the ball to the right, the second runner, and then the left for the third, and so on. A buddy is a 2-man play which we use to create the momentum for a 3- or 4-man drive. A buddy involves the ball being put down, stepped over, the half will then pass back to that same person, and they will run straight into the 3- or 4-man drive. A touchdown is the only way to score points in touch. A touchdown happens when the ball is grounded with downward pressure on or over the whitewash. The ball can be touched down but needs to be under control, and there needs to be downward pressure. A touchdown is worth 1 point. As there are no conversions in touch, you can score anywhere along the line, and as long as there is downward pressure and it is under control.
Well, welcome back to Oxford. Round 3 of the Elite Belief National Touch Series. Had 4 fantastic games for you throughout the morning and early afternoon as the heat has risen and risen. The temperature is sweltering hot, and we're into our 5th game of the day, which is Oxford against the London Scorpions. And here's the Scorpions looking to try and get the first touch of the game, number 37. Kai Devine diving for the line. Just a clinical touch just before. There comes Kai Devine once again looking to go for the line over the 5 metre. And again, Oxford defensive line holding strong once again.
Thank you.
It's all right. So here we go with Oxford in their own half, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined once again by Naomi Fearnet from CSSC London Ones, and this temperature is just getting hotter.
I know.
And hotter, isn't it?
Getting hotter and hotter as the day goes on.
It certainly is. And here come Oxford just on this near side, trying to get the first try, get the first points on the board. Jolene Hughes on the wing, and Scorpions looking to build from the back. And here they come, just building up once again. Over
To set up a scoop off the back of this, probably. Oh, he's gone through. Oh! Jaggle couldn't regather, unfortunately.
Just couldn't read it because she's just at the critical moment, and now the turnover and possession for Oxford. And they get a chance to start from the back. So our first look at Oxford on pitch number 1 today. Catherine Thorpe coming away with it with Campbell Allen.
Got the home ground advantage, so hopefully they can get a win.
Of course, yeah, on home turf. They know this place pretty well. And a turnover possession though in favour of the Scorpions, having to start from the back. So we have seen the Scorpions in action earlier on in the day. A tough game up against Galaxy London. Almost became a bit of the Miles Partridge show earlier on today.
Yeah, I spoke to a couple of the Scorps girls after that game, and they're missing quite a few of their key strike players in the boys, who are either injured or away this weekend. So I think they've brought along more of a development squad this weekend. So it's a good chance for them to get more of a run and get some more experience under their belt.
So Oliver Wu in the centre, along with Justin Conway. There goes Matthew Clark as well. Oliver was to the right. Clark going through.
Gets through there. I think he scored a no touch.
Oh, and there we go. Matthew Clark, and the scoring is underway, and Scorpions have their first one of the game, leading by 1-0. Matthew Clark bursting through there, created the angle, weaved his way into his position, and they open the scoring to the London Scorpions. How do Oxford respond? Jules Risser saw him involved in Manchester a couple of weekends ago.
Sending a sweep around the back here. Oh, good defence there by Scorps in the middle.
Looking to try and go dart themselves into the corner. Jules Risser now picking the ball up.
Touch by Brunty there to kill the play, and they'll get on it straight away and drive it out of their half.
Scorpions now edging forward towards the halfway, getting over to their sub-box to get some fresh legs on, as the temperature gauge just clicked over 31.
Oh, does it? Oh, God.
As we get towards the midpoint of the day, when the sun is at its blistering and looking to go out
great
wide.
ball. Can she catch it? Yes.
Absolutely, she can.
Good hands there by Jade Grantham.
Jade.
Oh, although they've called it forward, it looks like. Wasn't allowed.
Oh, initially it looked like it was a superb pass and take, but no, turnover in possession, and Oxford survived that one and will look to try and get back to level terms inside their own half over the 10 metre. Catherine Thorpe with a good bursting run through the middle. Now Campbell inside now to Ray. Campbell again. Ray just behind him, and then bursting through is Hartley. Joseph Hartley just couldn't get the ball down. There was no support either there for him. It was a good run actually from Joseph Hartley through that defence.
He is so fast, Joseph, and so light on his feet. Oh, he's just got round.
There we go. And just as you were saying.
Oh, they're going to debate it here.
Yeah, referee's just, I think, just having a consultation just over on that far corner. Just want to double check something.
Oh, looks like they're calling a touch, I think. Oh no. The referee's going to point to the spot now.
He does, and Joseph Hartley gets that try. Is he the second quickest?
Oh, second, yeah.
Behind Partridge.
We should have a foot race at the end.
Yeah, that would be quite a tight contest, I'm sure of that. As the wind's just slightly picking up here, just giving us a bit of respite from this sun here in Oxford. And here come London Scorpions again over the 10 metre mark, making up some good yardage through the centre. Picked up by Conway.
Yeah, Justin knows he went over the mark there. Get it set up again now.
Nye Davis with Conway now in support. Back to Davis. Lovely play.
Looks
Oliver
like
Wu down for the line.
Great dive.
And a superbly well executed try from London Scorpions, and they're back in it. And they lead by 2 points to 1. So London Scorpions back into this then. Back in front. A well executed move. Included Davis, Conway, and then to finish it off, Oliver Wu. And now here come Oxford. Can they reply? Can they get back into this straight away? Being forced back, slowing down the play, dictating it though, and here's Campbell involved. Oh, and then the turnover, an opportunity lost. Scorpions looking to come from the back over their 10 metre, edging towards halfway. On the frustration on Matthew Clark, bang on the halfway line now, trying to build a momentum. Can they create an opportunity? Conway involved with Clark. Oliver Wu as well.
Spreading the ball.
It's nice. Richard Eccles involved. There's Oliver Wu in the centre, jinking left and right. Brings it back. Yeah. And a fresh set for the London Scorpions. Critical moment. Matthew Clark. Oliver Wu now. With Richard Eccles. Emily Irons just to the right. Pick up by Eccles. Oliver Wu just blocked off there.
Half there, I think.
And here come Oxford then inside their own half. Just arcing that run.
Stay on the call. Here we go. Bring fresh subs on.
Here's Hartley. And here come the cavalry then. Christopher Wimpenny's on as well, but the turnover in favour of London Scorpions. Bang on the halfway. Can they take advantage of this? Can they just creep forward? They've just gone over back to towards their own sub box to get some A bit more energy into this side. Kai Devine now picks up the ball. He gets it back. Baby steps forward as the cap comes off and into the line. Oh, this
squeezed in there.
Oh no!
She bobbled the ball, they're saying.
Jade Grantham just coming in at the line. Oh, just couldn't get it down fairly. And now Oxford come forward. Christopher Wimpenny now into the centre. Catherine Thorpe involved a lot early on. And so is Jules Risser, and here is Campbell.
See if pick up here.
Campbell again. Looks to spread it out wide, but a poor pass. And the attacking phase has gone. And the Scorpions look to start from the back over their own 10 metre. Spreading it now with Kai Devine over the halfway. Looks to jink left and goes right, and he's stopped in his tracks by Campbell. There's Kai Devine once again, now halfway between the 10 and the 5 metre lines in the...
Kai Devine picking up there. He's got a great long ball on him. I think he plays Welsh Rugby 7, someone said?
He certainly does. He can suddenly just whip that ball over to the wings, can't he? And create the opportunity for those wingers. He's got the height and the power as Kai Devine as well. And here come Oxford. Deep on the back line. Laura Mitchell makes her way off after that attacking play. Now Joseph Hartley picks it up. Now inside to Ben George. Picked up by Wimpenny. George again now with Joseph Hartley dinking left and right. Can he get his way through?
Good touch there by Emily Irons.
Important touch by Irons. And good defensive work by Scorpions once again.
Yeah, they look much more together this game compared to the Galaxy game. They're a little bit disjointed that first time, but it seems like they've learned each other's gameplay a bit more now and finding their rhythm.
So 12 minutes remaining then until the half-time whistle. Oliver Wu now. This is good momentum being picked up. Now Nye Davis looks to go out wide. Oh, superb. Absolutely superb from Jade Grantham. Saw the pass, watched it all the way, and an easy finish. And that was just really calm from Jade Grantham. Took it really well.
Sometimes when those long balls are flying out at you, you kind of second guess your ability to catch it, but no, Jade handled that really well, calm and collected.
Yeah, really good take from the winger. And the Scorpions going to a 2-point lead. Jules Risser inside. Jules Risser again. Just a bit short, quick passing in the middle, looking to try and create that angle, that run. Jules Risser now with Wimpenny to his right.
Oh, flick pass.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, is he going to get there?
Oh, but can she hold on to it as the touch just come in?
I think they're saying touch back here.
Yeah, referee brings it back.
Some good razzle-dazzle there.
It certainly was. It was a very sharp, incisive play. A bit of skill involved as well, but turnover, and Scorpions now can build. And can they make this count as well? Spreading it over to that far side or towards their sub-box. Here come some new faces. Into the centre now. Good passage of play. Kai Devine. Devine picks it up. Looking towards this near side. Looking for support.
For him.
Oh, the touch comes in just
unlucky
before Grantham can get to the ground. Good defensive covering. Jade Grantham was in once again, but that all came thanks to Kai Devine through the centre and bursting, arcing his run. And over the 10-metre line. Campbell. George now. And now back inside to Campbell.
see what they can set up here.
Oh, that's a quick touch and go, and here's
header
centre.
goal,
And just behind her.
It was a great hole she was running there in between the link and wing.
Catherine Thorpe just saw the ball agonisingly go behind her. She made the near perfect run to get onto it. But now it's London Scorpions' turn to come again.
Hands there to grab that in.
So just under 5 minutes left remaining of the first half. Justin Conway, Nye Davis there in the middle.
Justin directing traffic here. Getting on the platform he wants. There we go.
As Justin Conway looks to go back inside to Davis, or
Good
looks for that
there,
pass.
Second phase play. Gonna spread it. Oh!
Can Jay Grantham take it? She does. She's got
Good touch.
opposition around her, but yeah, vital touch.
That's 6. Great scramble there from Oxford. Oh, no turnover.
A turnover in possession, an important one now for London Scorpions as they just stroll towards it. Nye Davis just taking his time. I don't know if that's the just thinking about things or the temperature. Justin Conway and Davis linking up. Davis dives for the line.
Dive. Slides in under the defence there.
Super work from Nye Davis. Just slipped in and dived towards the line, and no touch game, and that extends the lead. And London Scorpions are building up quite the advantage now with just over 3 minutes remaining. What can Jules Risser do about that for Oxford as he taps off? And Joseph Hartley now, he needs to be a key player in all of this as well.
Yeah, they need to start using Joseph's speed, I think. They can get him running on the outside. Oh, or through the middle even, there you go.
And there is the perfect response for Oxford and Joseph Hartley. The mastermind behind it all once again. He gets in behind the line and adds another one to his scorebook, and that reduces the deficit to only 2. But London Scorpions still in total control at the moment. Can they just add another one or maybe even 2 before the half-time break, or can Oxford reduce this gap even further? Lewis Partridge now. Clark inside Oliver Wu, and that's
a gaping hole for him to stroll into.
Absolutely. And
nicely worked there by Scorps.
We talked about it earlier, actually, just how it can be, as a defence, it's disappointing to concede through the middle.
Yeah, it's a tough blow to take there, because really your defenders in the middle want to be as condensed and kind of close and tight in as possible. But sometimes the attacking play is really good at manipulating the two there, so you can get some separation, and that's when kind of holes open up like that. But yeah, that was a yawning hole.
Well, and London Scorpions then get that 3-point advantage back, and Oxford reduce it once again, looking to come forward to the middle now. And here's Jules Risser to the right, who's just behind him is Wim Penny. Wim Penny gets it. Christopher Ray, I should say, just trying to get through that tight defensive line of London Scorpions. Force back.
See what Oxford can set up here. We've got a 32 short coming in. Long ball to the wing. Oh, I think she might have just stepped out there. No, 6 touch anyway.
One minute remaining then until the half-time interval. Both sets of teams go into the break. London Scorpions, can they add another one before the klaxon goes? Good yardage made up. Here's Kai Devine, a lovely scoop up.
Look for him to pick up again here, I think. Oh, good juggle with one hand. And the long ball to the wing.
What a pass, Jade Graham. And just manages to cling on as the klaxon goes.
Manages to reel it in just.
It was just almost like a fishing rod, just wheeled it in and she got it, and that is the half-time break. And just on the klaxon, London Scorpions add another one to the scoreline, and they are well on their way to victory. But at the half-time break, it's London Scorpions who lead by 6 points to 2. Second half will be coming up very shortly. Don't go anywhere.
A three-man drive is an attacking play which we use to gain momentum. The three-man drive includes 3 players, a half, the person who dumps the ball, and the runner. These 3 players will alternate between themselves in order to create each person's role within that three-man drive. So it'll start with a roll ball. The half will then pass the ball off the deck to the first runner. This first runner will then become the person who dumps the ball, initiating the touch on the defender, for then the person who previously dumped the ball to become the half. A 4-man drive is a 3-man drive, but with another person. The 4-man drive can also be referred to as arrows, and what we're looking to do is the exact same principle as a 3-man drive, but just to add a secondary option of the runner. So you've got 1 runner on the left, 1 runner on the right, and the half will wrap around whichever way they pass the ball, becoming the runner. The best way to complete a 4-man drive or an arrows platform is to hit one side, i.e. to pass the ball to the left, and then to pass the ball to the right, the second runner, and then the left for the third, and so on. A buddy is a 2-man play which we use to create the momentum for a 3- or 4-man drive. A buddy involves the ball being put down, stepped over, the half will then pass back to that same person, and they will run straight into the 3- or 4-man drive. So the touch is the equivalent of a tackle in rugby union or rugby league. In touch, we get 6 of them to try and score a touchdown. Scoring a touchdown, you have those 6 touches, and the defence are trying to make all 6 to prevent you from scoring. You can also touch clothing, boots, legs, wherever in order to create that touch. You can have such thing as a hard tackle or a hard touch, which is where you put too much force into the touch. A heavy touch can be made by the attacker or the defender as well. The attacker putting too much force on the initiated touch, or the defender putting too much force into the push of the touch. An attacker can either initiate the touch to stop the defence from making it, or the defence can make the touch themselves. The attacker can make the touch to make a better roll ball and to keep the momentum in the attack. Roll ball is the equivalent of a ruck in rugby union or a roll ball in rugby league. What we're looking for is a clear plant of the ball, no rolling of the ball physically despite it being called a roll ball, and we're looking for the clean ball for the half to come in and either scoop or pass the ball off the deck. So a roll ball is done by putting one part of the body over the ball. So there's 2 ways you can make a roll ball. You can either plant the ball and run through, as in over the top of the ball, or you can plant the ball and swing your foot around the front of it, which is called a quickie, to step to one side or the other faster than having to step all the way over the ball. So the roll ball has to be done where you are touched or initiate the touch. It also has to be placed between the legs, not to one side or the other, so that the ref can clearly see that you've either stepped over the ball or you've swung your foot around the front of it. In the roll ball, the hips of the person putting the ball down have to be square. By that they mean they have to be parallel to the pitch, not facing one side or the other.
So welcome back then to Oxford as we're into the second half of the home side. Oxford taking on London Scorpions, and Oxford have a lot of work to do if they're going to try and get back into this one. London Scorpions had a great first half.
Easy meters there for the Scorps coming out of their half.
Almost strolling over the halfway line. Kai Devine, and here is Matthew Clark. And into the centre, Kai Devine getting it off quickly, lovely take.
Great hands, M. Irons manages to get it down, I think, just in time. Yeah, referee's pointing to the spot now.
That was the confirmation, brilliant take and try from Emily Irons, read it all the way. And what a start to this second half for London Scorpions. A perfect start for the London club, and Oxford now have an even further wall to climb if they want to try and get back into this one. And Oxford desperately need this next try. So here comes Campbell, just slowing things down, dictating play. Jules Risses to the right, Risser receives it, Campbell gets it back. Bursting run forward by Chris Ray. Risser now. Risser. Chris Ray now picks up. Campbell back into Ray.
Spread it here. Good touch
just
there.
a pivotal touch.
Came in there and shut it down.
Ray leaves it off to Jules Risser. Now Campbell
back
inside. And Jules Risser, and that is the sixth touch and the turnover. They just couldn't make it count. And after all that good attacking play, can London Scorpions go up the other end and get another one on the board? They're making it really good yardage as they enter into the Oxford Hard over the 10 metre. Oliver Wu breaking forward. This is fantastic play from London Scorpions. Superb. London Scorpions add another one. Emily Crow going in on the line. And that was probably one of the best of the lot.
Yeah, that was beautiful to watch. Quick hands. I think every team member touched it in that set.
Absolutely. Well, what a start to the second half for London Scorpions. A terrific try. And another point added to the scoreboard. And once again, it's becoming a bit more of an exhibition, although this time, instead of Galaxy London, it's in favour of the Scorpions. And what can Oxford do about it? Hartley's there. He's always an influential player. Can he get forward?
He's got that down, I think. Oh no, this ain't touched.
It was a very good touch just on the line. Matthew Clark stopping Hartley from going through. Catherine Thorpe in the thick of things once again takes a tumble. She tries to retrieve it.
Last ditch effort there.
It was a ghastly dive towards the ball, tried to scoop it up, but the turnover. And now Justine Conway for London Scorpions on their own 5 metre. Crow, look at that for a turn of speed as well.
Oh, she's a pocket rocket, M. Crow.
She certainly is, yeah. What a burst of acceleration. Come in handy later on in the game. Clark laying it off to Conway. Conway making that arcing run over to that far side. And he comes off himself, and now back into the centre with Clark. Emily Irons is to the left. Picked up by Kai Devine and makes his way off the subs bench. Lovely play, Conway,
here.
Lots of space,
Just
looking
to
for
find a player.
Support, Emily Irons, and there it is. So reliable, isn't she, Emily Irons? You always know that when she gets that opportunity, she'll take it.
Oh, definitely. She's super competitive as well, so she'll always be pushing herself to get there and going that extra mile.
Well, that adds another one to the scoreboard, and London Scorpions have 2 points in the second half and are really on top now. And Oxford just need to get something, whether it's just a good piece of attacking play or whether they can just get a point, just get a bit of confidence running through their side again.
I think they just need someone to step up here and take charge, get the ball movement happening.
Jules Risser looking for Campbell. I think the touch maybe just come in yet by Kai Devine. Supporting touch it was by Kai Devine as well. Campbell inside now, Jules Risser. Looking to shape left, but obviously back into centre for Campbell. Campbell and Risser linking up nicely in the middle.
Just a bit of miscommunication there. No dummy half. Oh, they can.
Chris Ray just breaks
it there, but I think the turn-off time had passed. Scots were able to reset their line and drive out quickly here.
Oh, look at the Scorpions go already. Still full of energy. Here's Kai Devine over the halfway line. Such a presence in the middle of this Scorpion side. Emily Irons now into the centre to Oliver Wu. There's Richard Eccles as well.
And earns the penalty. Wow. Great driving set there from Scorps. I think they only used 3 touches just to get over halfway there, and then managed to earn a penalty at the end of it.
So Oliver Wu just marking his run over to this near side. Conway. And Eccles. Matthew Clark picking up the loose ball, looking to go left. Oh, Oliver Wu just laying off.
I think they're going to call it back here.
Touch just comes in time. And for Oxford's sake, they have possession of the ball once again. So 13 minutes remaining of this second half. Oxford, well, if they're going to do any, have to get back into this, it certainly is the time. And they need to start getting some points on the board.
See if they can get Joey here from half.
Here's that man Hartley, just waiting for that run, and it just didn't come in time. And now turnover possession back in favour of London Scorpions. Oliver Wu now. Lyons laying it off. All this space so in this near side for Emily Crow. Are they going to come over to this side?
Justin slowing it down here to set it up. Looks like they're going to run a set move.
Davis, Kai Devine is there, bit of space to run into for Davis.
He's just going to go straight through.
And there he goes. No need to find a support man, as he just burst his way through instead. And he looked to try and actually find some support, but he just saw the gap and went for it.
He didn't need it in the end. I think he was just showing the ball there, and Oxford defence just held off him enough to give him enough space just to slice on through.
So Kai Devine adds one to his personal tally, and it's another one on the scoreboard for London Scorpions. And here comes Oxford. Jules Risser laying it off to Chris Ray. Whoa, just looked like he sidestepped inside, but the touch came and stopped the link. Chris Ray now.
Scorp seem pretty comfortable in defence here, so I think Oxford are going to have to change it up a bit if they're going to get through them.
Turnover in possession. London Scorpions now deep in their own half, trying to break towards halfway. Lovely little sidestep.
Oh, what a great run there, straight up the guts through the middle.
Partridge now linking up with Eccles, and now here's Davis. Partridge, good play over to that far side, having to come back in. Partridge again, still no touch comes. Nice little layoff back inside. Eccles, and potentially a good try.
Great cutting in hole there from Bronte Sykes. He's managed to weave her hips out of the way of the Oxford defender.
Wow, superb score from London Scorpions, and they are really extending their lead. 11-2 on the scoreboard. It's a comprehensive result so far. And how will Oxford reply to that one? Going into the final 10 minutes.
They'll take a lot of confidence out of this win, Scorps, considering how they've built from their first game, and they're gelling much better together as a team in the second game here.
Certainly are. They've linked up nicely, and their attacking phases have been scintillating at best. And driving towards the 5 metre, Joseph Hartley.
Oh, the intercept.
Oh, an intercept.
I think they're going to call it back here.
It was Matthew Clark coming in to intercept, but Oxford still with the chance. Griffin Thorpe just gets the ball handed over to her on a plate. And here comes Hartley. Oh, Thorpe. Oh, good defensive pressure.
Great shutdown defence there by M. Crow on the wing.
Here comes Emily Crow. Look to try and get herself about.
Oh, good hands.
This is lovely play from London Scorpions. You can almost feel the confidence is growing and growing and growing.
Oh, and the dummy from Livray.
And now all the skill moves are coming out, and it's carnival touch rugby at the moment. This is brilliant play.
Oh, it's a great second phase. It's picked up again. Can he find someone to connect with? Yes,
Oh,
Jade Grantham.
Absolutely. Just waiting for the referee's confirmation. It certainly is. Jade Grantham on that far side adds another one to her personal try tally. And that was absolutely superb touch rugby to watch.
Yeah, that was great. They took their time, set it up again when they got touched on the first one. Were able to get the second phase off the back of that and keep running through, and in the end find the winger coming back in.
And the 10 metre. And
oh,
here comes Campbell. Oh, just that touch. Just thought Campbell was away for a second. Jules Risser now. Midway between the 10 and 5 metre line. The Scorpions half, but they're just having to be forced back. Good defensive work by the Scorpions. Push forward for Hartley, and now here's Campbell looking to the left for Chris Ray, looking to arc his run round. Another good touch just before the line. It's good attacking momentum here from Oxford. Can they do anything with it now? Here's Campbell. Rule Risser to the right with Ray picking it up there. Here's Jules Risser.
Just couldn't get there, unfortunately. Right idea, chucking it out long to the wing, but just fell a little bit short.
Kai Devine now. Crossing the 10 metre. Getting some fresh legs on.
Looks like over the mark they've been called for there. This will be good for Oxford if they can get up the other end. They'll have a couple of touches extra up their sleeve, starting at halfway. See if they can string something together. They need to get some people on the field though. They've only got 3 at the moment.
And they looked a bit lacklustre coming on, didn't they? Hartley normally full of energy. I'm sure he still will be. Just swaggered his way on a bit, and here is Hartley now, facing us, and just lays it off.
Sweep around here.
Oh, there's Hartley, yeah. Sweeper comes in, oh, looking to go back inside, but turnover. It was a nice move, but just couldn't be executed. Just over 6 minutes remaining then of this second half, and the Scorpions well in control at the moment. Kai Devine laying it off. Justin Conway slowing things down, and in the position they're in, they could really actually save some energy for their third and final game.
Yeah, they could be conserving some, but to be honest, I think these guys are too driven and they definitely want to go get out there and score as much as they can.
They're just absolute machines, aren't they? They keep going and going.
We've got a fresh set of 6 here on the line, so let's see what they do with it.
Here's Clark then. Conway involved, back to Conway. Can he get through? Good touch by Hartley. The 2 number 10s.
Another quickie set up here. Justin's picked up instead. Oh, he's gone straight through.
Oh, looking for that support on that far side. I think it was Jade Grantham, wasn't it, over on there? Looking to try and add to this, her personal try tally. Always looking to try and add. Oxford then, chance to build from their own half.
Oh, they've just dropped it there, coming out. giving Scorps a whole fresh set of 6. Or if they spread it here, they've got a massive overlap.
Good work, Kai Devine looking to try and get through, but Campbell's there to stop him.
Penalty for offside, I think, there. So they're going to have another set.
Kai Devine then just slowing things down almost at just a walking pace. Nice little 1-2, almost a netball pass.
Yeah. Good defence there by the pocket middle.
Standing strong, this Oxford back line. Oh, and a good bursting run. And nothing stopping him.
Good setup there by Scorps. They took their time, didn't panic, used the whole set, and get the reward at the end of it.
Nye Davis coming in and diving over the line. And London Scorpions add another one. 13-2 on the scoreboard. A comprehensive score line at that. And I'm sure they'll still be even hungry for more. I'm sure Oxford would like to add one of themselves as well. Oh, and just, is that maybe a lapse of concentration, maybe?
Yeah, I think he was sort of thinking ahead to what he was going to do next and forgot to focus on the task at hand, which is to catch the ball first.
Emily Irons involved once again. Oliver Wu picks it up. Emily Irons always seems to be involved. They're all over the pitch.
Yeah, she's great. I played with her in the mixed opens team just this gone in Malaysia, and it was great to have her on the team. She's such a fierce competitor and really great to have alongside you.
Emily Irons back inside to Clark. Leaves it now for Irons, who just uses all of her experience just to slow things down. No rush. They are well.
A good platform here. Oh, ball out of the touch. Can he take advantage?
Emily Irons just having to force her way back.
Sweeper coming around here.
There he is. Clark back inside to Irons.
Oh, they're saying ball down. She gets another one.
And Christopher Wimpenny just agonisingly looking at the referee, please.
Pleading with her.
And it is, and it's another one added. And London Scorpions move to 14. One of the most comprehensive victories we've seen, certainly today, and throughout the last couple of weekends as well. This really is a clinical performance by the Scorpions. And Oxford on home turf, not having it their own way. And here's Campbell back inside. Hartley lays it off to
Let's
Ray.
see if they can get a consolation try here, hopefully boost their spirits a little bit.
Hartley, as a breeze just passes through us, gives us a bit of relief from that sun. And
oh, is it in?
Campbell
Might be in there. Oh no, the thing's just touched.
No, just hasn't sneaked in. So under a minute remaining then until full time, and we'll hear that klaxon go. And I'm sure Oxford would like it to come pretty soon, although if they can just add one before that klaxon, that will just give them a nice ending. Hartley looking to go wide, a bit of space opening up, and they do have one. Over on that far side, a lovely build-up play.
It's a good note for them to finish on.
It certainly is. And that'll just give them just a little something to hold on to going into their final games. Seconds remain, and there is that klaxon, and there is full time here in our 5th game of the day, and it's a comprehensive win for London Scorpions over Oxford Touch. And we now move on to our next game which will be Cambridge Hornets taking on CSSC 2. Well, Naomi, thank you very much for joining us once again.
Go
and thank you
CSSC.
for keeping the brolly up for us as well, shielding from this
Anytime.
heat. We will move on to our next game then, which will be Cambridge Hornets taking on CSSC 2. We'll be back very shortly. Lovely.
Okay, ladies and gents, that's your 1 minute warning, 1 minute warning. Try and get as much water in as you can. Remember to keep hydrated and use plenty of sun cream. It's your 1 minute warning.
Well, there goes the hooter, and we're back underway here in Oxford, our 6th game of the day. And our first look at Cambridge Hornets taking on CSSC London 2s. I'm delighted to say once again, rejoining me from Manchester, Will Sericold is in the commentary box for this one. Will, how's your day been? I mean, it's just, well, this heat is just something else.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal day here actually in Oxford. The weather is absolutely gorgeous. Quite glad to be coaching instead of playing, to be honest.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we have Cambridge here taking on CSSC London 2s. Of course, we all know CSSC are just such a formidable club. They've already got a really good strength and depth in their team. And of course, Cambridge have got a good squad as well. So this should be a good matchup.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see some of the younger lads playing for Cambridge who've been with England recently, Matt Maynard and Sam Miston especially. Like to see them sort of really put a stamp on this game, run their plays and show everyone what they can do.
Yeah, Samuel Misson, he's always a key player in this Cambridge side, looking to try and get the touch in early doors, and he does. And looking to drive forward here. CSSC 2s, and the pass just goes long. Daniel Wines looking out wide. Fizzed in pass.
Yeah, I think he could have been in himself there. Looked like the hole opened up and he just chose to fizz it out to the wing. It's a great ball from Dan. See if Cambridge can bring it back here with the ball.
Looking to spread it out here to this near side now. Touch comes in, building from the back.
There's some interesting yards here from Cambridge, not getting much momentum, not getting much go forward. Struggle to get a strike play here. Is that Catherine someone?
Catherine Jones.
There we go.
In the middle there. Here comes Maynard driving through. Look at this fantastic run. Needs the support from Sandland.
Oh, and that's unfortunate. They managed to sort of pull the rabbit out of the hat there, Ollie Maynard. Didn't have much on after those yards. And lovely footwork there. Left the defender in his wake, and a great score to open this game today.
Absolutely. Matthew Sandland, as the saying goes, good feet for a big man. Just dinking his way through, and Cambridge have the early lead.
And nice to see him stay on and do the D as well. Not just a glory pony here. See if CSSC can get a reply here now. They'll be looking to drive the ball forward, get down to the line. Play with a lot of structure, CSSC. You'll see all three of their teams running pretty similar plays today. And here comes the sweeper back door. And the pick up in the in goal. Got to finish that. Keep running, whoever that half is.
Yeah, the defence was there for Cambridge. Just stopping Sandler, just asking his side just to drive up.
And another shot at the line from Jack Strain there. Some good plays from CSSC, just not quite getting the outcome they want. And let's see if Cambridge can be just as successful in their last set and get the ball down the other end to create something. 2-on-1 if they can execute it here. Some good yards up the wing there. And here comes the younger Maynard. She looked like her foot was in touch there to me. And yeah, refs have spotted that. Sideline call. And a turnover for CSSC here, which they'll definitely be looking to capitalise on. See if they can pull themselves back into this game.
Absolutely, as they look to go inside. John Strain, saw him earlier on. He got a couple of his personal tries on the board, and now inside Richard King as well. He was involved. Here's George Miller, who was in the commentary box with us earlier. Here is Miller picking it up once again.
Got to keep going forward here, CSSC. Keep pulling up, keep backing off, and Cambridge just able to flood up, keep them nice and far away from the try line.
So Missy doing all the work. Raymond Blythe stops in her tracks on the 5 metre. Miller picks it up, looks to go wide. And just over. And Rosalind Chaston just couldn't pick up that pass from Miller.
Just couldn't find his wing in there. It's a great option from George. And CSSC looking quite threatening against this Cambridge team. They're certainly creating opportunities to score and putting them under the pressure a bit.
Sam Missing, always looking to burst forward. Oh, what a run this is. Can he just get through?
Ben Powell, the recently appointed Women's Open coach there, showing he's still got the turn of pace that earned him many caps for the Men's Open team back in his day, and really showing these young guys how it's done. See what Cambridge can manufacture here. Again, need to get down to the line, can't keep going backwards. And Ollie Maynard looking to get the ball back and ball playing. An unfortunate mistake there from number 56. Just a little bit messy in that roll ball. Doesn't give Maynard the chance to strike.
Here comes CSSC to London over on that far side. Get some fresh faces on over the halfway, over the 10 metre, and here they come.
Wines and Strain, the two long lads in the middle.
Absolutely, looking to try and get through. Important touch there.
Strain just too long, still gets touched.
It was Collier Berman, number 48 for Cambridge. A few familiar names in this side. On lovely turn and away, Ollie Maynard.
Maynard there will be looking to dictate the play. And here on comes his younger brother Matt. A young Gabe Pennington, some might say. Looking to control the game here. And here we go. He's drawn the shot and forced the defence to collapse really well there. It's unfortunate that he couldn't just quite find that final pass. And here comes CSSC coming out of their own line now.
Absolutely, in the side of their own half, going over to that far side towards their sub-box, constantly rotating, keeping it fresh, getting the energy levels, keeping them high. As
especially important on a hot day like today, just keeping rolling the subs, getting everyone the recovery, keeping their water in. It's almost like Malaysia out here.
And as just a bit of wind picks up, just giving us a bit of respite, and it's going to be interesting throughout the weekend. The teams with the bigger squads, will they maybe last the distance a bit better, being able to rotate a lot more, keeping the intensity levels up. There's Sam Missing, he always just seems to be full of energy. He got described as a Duracell bunny last time in Manchester, and he just keeps on going.
Excellent platform he's laid there for Ollie Maynard. Great ball to the wing, and just can't quite find the hands of Lucy Norburn on the wing. And let's see what CSSC can do with their next set.
CSSC build an attack from their own half. Look at this pressure though from Cambridge Hornets, swarming all over them.
Yeah, Cambridge doing a great job defensively there, just to try and pin CSSC in their own half. And let's see if they can create something here. It's fifth touch, not even over the 10. Gonna have to pull the rabbit out of the hat. John Strain, great feet, but again, the long man can't quite find his way through. And Cambridge in a good position here to drive the ball down the other end and create something of their own.
Is that the difference between good sides and really good sides? That defensive pressure early on in their own half and stopping and almost nullifying that attack from the off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they say attack wins games and defence wins championships. So I think being able to as you said, keep teams in their own half or never let them get to threaten your line is something that definitely differentiates the better teams and the good teams. And then again, if you can execute your attack down the other end, as Cambridge just struggled to there, you'll be flying.
So 8 minutes gone then of this first half. Still plenty of time left on the scoreboard, but a turnover now and a really good opportunity for Cambridge to double that advantage into the middle for Samuel Missing. Lots of space to run into actually. Catherine Jones is there, picks it up, back to Samuel Missing. Little bunny hop.
He'll be a real threat on his feet here. I know a lot of defenders would be very worried about Sam Missing if he's trying to get the ball back here in ball play. Thought he'd done him there. Let's see him step off his right and his left. Let's see what he offers here. Oh, just lays the platform. Ben Powell looking open side. Hop skipping it. Almost over the line.
Yeah, Benjamin Powell nearly just going over there. Nice take and back inside to Samuel Missing. Oh, and a lovely darting run through. That was great individual play by Sam Missing. Looked to fake the pass and then arced his run inside. And Sam Missing doubles Cambridge's lead. And it's a well-deserved double lead at that as well.
That's a wonderful score from Sam. Ran his play time and again, saw what the defence were doing, and then left it to the last touch to just really open it up and create some space for himself to score, which is wonderful to see.
Well, a bit of work now to do for CSSC London 2s. Looking to drive forward here now.
Let's see what CSSC can offer here now. Oh, and a break on the outside. He might have the wheels to get in there. And whoa, pulling the rabbit out of the hat there. is Rich King to just burn around the outside of Ollie Maynard, and I don't think his younger brother will let him forget about that.
Yeah, Rich King, just that little bit of momentum going through, and Sam Missing almost just turning his head in disappointment. And now, after just getting that 2-point advantage, it's been reduced once again to only 1. 10 minutes remaining of this first half, so there's still plenty of time left.
Strike players on here though. Missing, Maynard, Powell, Goddard. Let's see what they can bring into it. And they've got some numbers there if they want it. And here comes Missing on the sweep. Maynard gets in on the back middle. Can Missing convert? Footwork, step. Not quite there. Great feet from the young lad though. Let's see what Cambridge have got on this next play.
Benjamin Powell was also involved in that move as well. Here's Matty Maynard. Sam Missing picks up. Here's that man Ben Powell back inside to Missing. Touch comes in.
Just a bit of lack of communication there, I think, between Benny Powell and Sam Missing there. As the CSSC have that opportunity to drive out now with Will Simpson bringing the ball forward. Got to get that ball down quicker. They're killing the momentum here. That second touch, and they've made all of about 5 metres. Cambridge, like we said, just smothering them in their own half and not giving them the chance to strike at their line.
Miller now puts it inside.
Machine gun preacher Jack Strain lays the platform, gets the ball back, is missed. Ridiculous ball over the top, but I think that was a late pass or a forward pass.
That was nearly one of the tries of this first half. It was so close. George Miller instigating it all in the middle there. A bit of acceleration.
And now CSSC and the machine gun preacher Jack Strain have another shot at the line here. See what they can orchestrate down there. George Miller looking to pull the strings here, sending the long man Strain, and a missed touch here creates the opportunity for CSSC. And that is just a poor option to take that early in the count. Ball security is key early in those early touches. And Cambridge let off the hook here and allowed to bring the ball forward through Missing. Slightly. Ooh. Cambridge fortunate there.
So just over 8 minutes then to go. Cambridge still leading by 2 points to 1. Catherine Jones now involved. Here's Sandler back into the middle, finds Ollie Maynard. Back into the middle for Sandler. Already has one himself. Catherine Jones always linking it really nicely. Collier Berman as well there in the middle. Looking to the right. There's Maynard and there's Sandler.
And a good touch from Strain there to kill the momentum.
Catherine Jones now.
The experienced Jones lays the platform. Maynard, footwork, and just couldn't find that ball. I think his open side attackers not quite hitting the holes that they needed to be, and he's won the penalty there.
So can Cambridge restore that 2 point lead? Catherine Jones, a bit of a, looked like a bit of a heavy touch that from George Miller.
I think a bit is an understatement there. I think that's an embarrassingly heavy touch for me. I think defenders got to have more control going in there. Can't be shoving through like that.
Catherine Jones, nice little run there through the middle. There's Maynard trying to find.
Tries to link up with Norburn and just couldn't find the final pass, unfortunately. And that's early in the count for Cambridge. We would have wanted them, I think, to do a bit more with that attacking set. They'd won the penalty. They had 6 touches at the line, 6 shots to try and put CSSC under the pressure, and just couldn't quite do it.
Miller involved once again over on that far side, but Hornets are just putting CSSC2s under so much pressure. Always keeping it on, and a nice good run on as he managed just to get through.
That's much better intent from CSSC. Will Simpson there scooping off the back of some good yards, and a great touch from Cambridge to stop him in his tracks, but otherwise he was getting in the in goal and he was looking to find a support player.
Norburn laying off to Jones, pick up by Maynard. Maynard making up some yards, a nice little run to the left. Has he just gone out? He's just kept himself in.
Done
Norburn
very well
lays
to
it
keep
off.
his feet there, hasn't he? And here comes the other Maynard down for Missing. Just couldn't quite get that pick up. He's ready to open up there, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He was looking to part the ways, and you can see he was just a bit frustrated with that one.
Who have you been impressed by so far, Brad?
In terms of teams-wise, we saw, well, London Scorpions in the game before dismantle Oxford. They put in a really good performance.
You don't have to say that because I'm here, but I appreciate it anyway.
I thought they were well drilled and looked really good in the last game. And CSSC London Ones, of course, always a good outfit to watch as well. Got a last-minute win in the opening game of the day against Hot Custard. It was an on the buzzer, actually, victory. But yeah, it's been
an unfortunate mistake from Cambridge there, giving CSSC, the machine gun preacher Jack Strain and Dan Wines, a shot at the line here. And we'll hope that they can create something to even this game back up, I think.
So here comes CSSC then. Can they, like you said, well, can they get back into this? Can they get it all level once again? Here's Strain trying to find over to that far side.
Oh, cracking ball.
Oh, she managed just to sneak away in there.
The winger's saying she missed, I think. It's an outstanding ball from Dan Wines to his winger. Some wonderful footwork on the edge out there. And a really, really good score from CSSC.
Absolutely, and we're all square. And we have our game on our hands. So only 3.5 minutes remaining then until the half-time interval. And we're all square. Can Cambridge, with this tap-off, get themselves back into the lead?
Yeah, I think Cambridge will be disappointed with their first half showing so far. Just not quite executing at the sort of levels that they're used to. We saw them in Manchester and we saw them earlier against Nottingham, had a really tight game. So yeah, I think they'll be frustrated going into half time, but can they nick one just here? Goddard comes on the short and can't quite find a way through.
Some good defensive work again from CSSC London. Can Cambridge get through that brick wall that has been for the last couple of minutes? So pass that wide on, just a bit too short. Their idea was right, just the execution. Lucy Norburn was there waiting for that pass to come in. It just wasn't right, and it remains 2 apiece.
Yeah, I think Norburn could have been a bit tighter there. And now CSSC, chance to bring their ball out of their half, chance to attack the line. And they're moving the ball well here. They've got a good opportunity on the outside if they can find it. And going a bit rogue, going a bit away from pattern, but still finding some good yards and some good momentum. And let's see if they can get down to the line for a strike with King and Miller.
And
that's again. 5th in the wing channel, looking to open up here, I'd think.
Bit of space opening up. The opposite to go back into the traffic, and the pass is loose and wide.
Speaking of traffic, I think he was trying to put that onto the A34 by the looks of it.
Yeah, that pass was a bit wild. And by Son Atkins. And the opportunity goes.
And let's see if Cambridge can bring the ball forward here. Got to get some momentum going. Looking to find their rhythm as we nearly come into the end of this first half. That's a great yards from the girls down this near side wing. It's not quite in the roll ball there. It's unfortunate. Sam Missing looking to work hard for his team here, trying to put them under some defensive pressure. And CSSC, if they can get the players on and in the right positions, they could be a real threat to this Cambridge side. Wines driving in for Simpson here. Simpson will always back his speed, bit of footwork, little pop inside, and Wines has found a wonderful hole there, especially for such a long man. And there it is, prime time's Dan Wine.
Absolutely. Daniel Wines coming in with only seconds on the clock remaining, and that is the, as we've said numerous of times in previous rounds, almost the perfect time to get a score on the board, and even more crucially, just to edge in front before half time and go into the half time with all the momentum. And can Cambridge Hornets hit back just before the whistle? Sandlet's involved. There's Ollie Maynard. Samuel Missing is there waiting in the wings to pick it up.
Door.
Maynard looks
Maynard
to find
picks
Missing.
up. He's in goal. Just got to find someone on the hooter. Basketball pass, and Jones just can't quite find a finish. A cracking half here between CSSC and Cambridge, and we'll be back after the break.
We certainly will.
A three-man drive is an attacking play which we use to gain momentum. The three-man drive includes 3 players, a half, the person who dumps the ball, and the runner. These 3 players will alternate between themselves in order to create each person's role within that three-man drive. So it'll start with a roll ball. The half will then pass the ball off the deck to the first runner. This first runner will then become the person who dumps the ball, initiating the touch on the defender, for then the person who previously dumped the ball to become the half. A 4-man drive is a 3-man drive, but with another person. The 4-man drive can also be referred to as arrows, and what we're looking to do is the exact same principle as a 3.
Just a reminder that if your next game is on field 2, it's half moon. Down in front of the marquee on the Preston Moore field. Try to keep yourself hydrated. Make sure you have lots of sun cream. There's still ice lollies and food available from the clubhouse. And that is your 1 minute warning.
goes the klaxon, and we are back underway for the second half between Cambridge and CSSC London 2s.
Yeah, tied up at 2-all. Be really interesting. Sorry, 3-2, my mistake. Be interesting to see who comes out the stronger in this second half now.
And CSSC looking to try and get off to the perfect start. 3-2 up at the break. And Cambridge Hornets, even though they've got some very recognisable players that we've seen over the past couple of rounds, they've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, driving the ball forward really well here. Maynard and missing. See if they can manufacture something for themselves off the back of it. Ollie Maynard back to his brother Matt. Ollie will scoop, steps open side. And a good touch there from Jack Strain to just nullify that Cambridge attack on 5th touch. Has really been an attritional game this. Teams going back and forward. And both teams struggling to convert on the line.
Yeah, it's not been the high scoring game that we've seen in the previous other games. It's certainly been very competitive and intriguing to watch. Raymond Blythe coming forward, nice pick up by King, took it on his chest and now looks to drive forward with Will Simpson. Oh, but the turnover. And
good scoop and good speed from Simpson, but just couldn't quite get in goal or find that final pass. And Cambridge here be looking to bring some fresh legs on and create something of their own down the other end. And here comes Missin bringing the ball forward, some great yards from him. And Powell is on, looking to coordinate something in attack, presumably, and that's the winger in there. Must be space somewhere. And Cambridge just slowing it down, can't quite take advantage of that. And here goes Ben Powell. Into the in-goal, very elusive runner. Can someone get free? Oh.
It was Collier Berman there, just supporting Benjamin Powell. Oh, just couldn't, in the nick of time, saves that try scoring opportunity for Cambridge, and it still remains 3-2 to CSSC London 2s as they look to try and drive on themselves, looking to build from the back. Managed to survive that one. Can they work their way up the half? Over the halfway line they go. That's a good bit of yardage made up, and trying to burst forward. And here comes Daniel Wines in the thick of things. George Miller is just behind him. Wines lays it off to Miller. Miller bursting forward, back into Wines. Touch comes in.
Very well defended by Cambridge there. Wines and Miller doing a great job to put them under the pump, and a great defensive read from the link on our near side here. But they win the penalty, and let's see what these two can create.
Absolutely is. Daniel Wines, George Miller, Wines and Miller combining and looking to go long, looking to try and spread it out to this near side, but just couldn't control it. Natalie Grimsey just on this near side touch line. Was watching it all the way, but just couldn't control it at the last.
Yeah, it's a really good ball from Dan. And I would have liked to see CSSC finish that, because it's a high risk play to run on that first touch. And unfortunately, it didn't make the most of their attacking set. And now Cambridge bringing the ball forward. Maynard goes short side, gets to the in goal, looking for a pass. And they'll say that's 6th touch apparently.
Lucy Norburn, well, for a minute I think she thought she'd just done it, but no, 6th touch called by the referee, and turnover. And now George Miller looking to get things going inside their own half. Lovely turn away from Wines. Wines lays it off back to Miller. Miller
CSSC doing a great job of bringing the ball out of their half here. King lays the strike dump for the last touch. Here's Strain looking to put someone in space. They've got 3-on-2 on that side, but Cambridge recover well to number up, and now they'll be looking to bring the ball back down to this CSSC try line and get a score of their own. Struggle to do it with plays like that. Maynard just going over the mark there and bringing it back, losing a bit of momentum. And Cambridge looking to come forward now into the CSSC half. Ooh, rogue pass to Missin. They've got 2-on-1 there if he can identify it, but he brings it back in for Berman. Missin scoops, bit of footwork, a great hole. Oh, just had to dive and get that down, I think.
It was just, he was halfway on his way to the ground, and that touch just came in. There's John Strain just at the last. Here's Samuel Missing. Oh, looked to fake it right towards Catherine Jones, but
a great show from Missing there, but I think the ball was on probably to create that 3-on-2. And now let's see if CSSC can bring it forward. Great yards from Marsh there on the far side. And Strain as well. And they've got fresh legs on. They'll be looking to set up a platform probably for this man here, Simpson. Gets touched just over the mark and brings it back. And now Miller. See what they can coordinate here.
Miller linking up nicely, and look at this darting run. Will Simpson just trying to break through that line. Stopped. And still an opportunity though here for CSSC London. Miller on the pitch. Miller looking to try and receive that ball, but a loose pass. Turnover in possession to Cambridge. And they really need to start upping the ante a bit. Cambridge still down by 1.
Yeah, CSSC just looked like they ran out of ideas a little bit there. And here's Matty Maynard. Great footwork from the little man. Makes some really good yards. Brings Cambridge up to the CSSC 10-metre line on just 2 touches, and they'll be looking to press their advantage forward here.
Ollie Maynard.
They've got to keep momentum, got to get down to that line to set up for their plays. They've got 3 good ball players on here. Here comes Missing. Bit of footwork to the short side, on the outside. And a great diving touch by George Miller there.
Yeah,
for all money, you would have bet your house on Sam Missing scoring there.
Oh, just couldn't get through Ollie Maynard. It was on to the final touch, but now turnover. CSSC looking to start once again inside their own half. A lot of work to do. Here's William Simpson looking to drive forward along with Raymond Blythe, making up some really good yardage over on that far side, back into the centre now with Lines.
Wines lays a great platform for Strain there, and he goes on the outside, quick as Strain. Just couldn't quite finish, couldn't quite execute that ball to his winger to put her into space to press home their advantage. And now let's see what Cambridge can bring. Need a score here.
Oh, look at this. Turn of pace from Samuel Missing. Can he be caught? Oh, an important touch. Samuel Missing looked like he was away. You know he's got the pace.
And a fantastic diving touch from Atkins there to shut down that attack. But good yards for Cambridge from Missing. And let's see what they can get to here. Ben Powell with some footwork to the open side, tries to beat his man. Just can't quite get round him. He's still got touches to play with here, Cambridge. Still a chance to set up a play and create a scoring opportunity. And let's see what Powell and Maynard can produce between the two of them. They're backing off a bit. Maynard down. Ooh. And the ref's giving an in the ruck penalty there, which I think was fair. Came off Wines' foot as he tried to make that touch. And 6 touches for Powell to play with here. Brings Tamara Slater in for the roll ball. So Maynard just pops it off to Powell, and they'll reset and go again. See what they can offer here.
Let's have a look. Here's
Maynard
back inside.
And here's
Ben
Powell.
Just being patient, aren't they? Just waiting for that opportunity to come. Berman's there with Powell.
I think Strain's got away with one just there. A little bit heavy-handed in the touch. Managed to slow up the roll ball for Powell. And now here's Berman.
Again, slowing things down. Here's Powell to the right and Maynard to the left. It leaves it off to Maynard, back to Berman. Berman looking to try and find Maynard. Maynard dinks round, gets through, does he? Oh, and just a critical touch by John Strain.
And Matt Maynard putting people in the blender just as he did at World Cup for England Mixed Open. So phenomenal footwork from the young man.
Matty Maynard then. With Berman just behind. And slowing things down.
And another penalty for Cambridge here. See what they can manufacture. Maynard's still on there. Berman's still on there. Powell's made way for Matthew Sandland, I think. And here he is attacking the line. Tries to use his footwork to find a gap, but there's nothing there from the CSSC defence. And now Berman comes off, Powell returns. See what he can coordinate. Some really good sustained pressure from Cambridge here. You feel that it must end in a touchdown at this point.
Yeah, they've built up a lot of the pressure. They've had a long spell of possession and a really good opportunity now for Cambridge Hornets.
Let's see if they can test the CSSC defence. Unfortunate mistake at half there. Matt Maynard trying to pop that ball to Ben Powell and just not quite finding hands. And that looks over the mark to me from Wines. I think CSSC have got away with one there as they bring the ball forward on that sub-box. Bringing on some fresh legs for those who've just defended those sets and winning a penalty in midfield. Great composure from CSSC too there. They've D'd out multiple sets and managed to execute, get off the pitch, win a penalty. And now let's see if they can get another one on the score sheet now.
Driving forward, coming through the middle, Raymond Blythe is there, looking to go left, Ops to go right, and going through the centre, Raymond Blythe, bit of space opening up, can she just get through? Good pressure and good touch from Sandler, and the turnover in possession.
She had some teammates in holes there, and she could have picked a pass. I think that could have been a score for CSSC. And now Cambridge with it all to do, lots of yards to make up. Powell can't quite find his way around the outside there. And Cambridge here really looking to try and build something from the back. Here comes second touch on Maynard. Fresh legs are on, Goddard. And missing on the outside. Ollie Maynard now receiving the ball. Still just not quite keeping momentum, not quite making those yards that they so desperately need. And that's fifth touch. Missing, goes through. He's in the in goal. The ball's away for me. And the referee thinks he's got a better view of that than I do. But for me, that ball was gone and Ollie Maynard was levelling the score.
Yeah, it looked like it was a fantastic run from Sam Missing, just bursting through that through the middle. And it looked like he just got the pass off before the touch, but the referee deeming differently, and now CSSC building from their own half over the halfway line. Raymond Blythe picks it up now, looking for the on-runner and building up a bit of momentum now into the middle. John Strain doing well. Here's George Miller who picks it up nicely, scoops it, looks to go right to find Strain once again. Samuel Missing in there to block the pass.
I think that's a really crucial intervention from Sam Missing there. I think that pass from Miller had found Strain. I think he was in a hole and he was finishing that. And now 6 touches for CSSC. Miller going to the open side, finds his link in a hole. And good defensive effort from Ollie Maynard to chase out there and make that touch. Cambridge need a big play here. Got to get a stop if they want to compete in the rest of this game. Strain looking back to the short side. The touch is coming. This is good from CSSC, just winding down the clock, taking their time. They know they've got the lead. I think Cambridge getting a bit frustrated with the lack of intent from CSSC, shall we say. And here's Miller, dumps. Strain round Atkins, and the pass doesn't quite find it. But Cambridge unfortunate to be penalised there. Sam Missing for not moving forward. That's a couple of penalties in this red zone, and you wonder at what point the referee will have to start taking some more action.
7 minutes remaining then, CSSC London.
It's a long time to try and kill the clock for. That's what they're to be doing.
They have that 1 point lead. I'm sure they'd love to try and double that, and here they come through the middle. Here's John Strain trying to weave himself an angle. Miller is there waiting. Can he force home an angle? Can he try and get his team over the line? Here they come once again. John Strain looking to go right, but opts to go himself. Looks to try and spread it wide, but the pass is way too high and long, and turnover in possession.
I tell you what, CSSC won't mind that. Ball flies off the side of the pitch. That's more valuable seconds that are eaten up. Cambridge looking to get some fresh legs on. They'll need to go the full length of the field if they want to tie this game up. And Goddard brings the ball forward. Great yards from her. Berman, they're queuing up now just to drive that ball up the box. And here's Missing. Brings the ball forward, and he's won himself a penalty there, surely. Atkins in the roll ball. And here we go, 6 touches for Cambridge. Got Slater, Sandland, which I hope I'm saying right, Maynard and Powell. And let's see what they can coordinate here. Sandland going forward. Stray makes the touch there. And here we go. Cambridge need a score here.
Just over 5 minutes remaining. Matty Maynard linking up Sandler. Here's Powell. Oh, literally Maynard was there waiting, but a crucial interception stops that from going any further.
And here we go. Cambridge haven't got time to play with here. Got to get a strike here. Really, they've got to get another one on the board. And here's Maynard back inside to Sandland. Sandland drives in. Maynard pops to Powell. Powell comes open side, tries to find that ball. And another repeat set for the Cambridge Hornets there. Atkins doing all the work at this link. Looks like he's in a world of hurt defensively.
So
he keeps knocking that ball down, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Sandlet now with Maynard. What can he do?
Looking
can he
for that
produce
same play again,
special?
I think.
Over the 5 meters of just being drawn back, waiting for that. Sandlet over the 5 meter, driving forward, stopped once again. John Strain.
I think for me, Cambridge need to stick with that same play, keep running it and just try and choose a better option on the back of it. And here they come, and that is a strong, strong use of the shoulder from George Miller.
A couple of times we've seen it in this game from George Miller. Just might have to just...
From up here, it's very easy to say that he looks like a very angry man. And here we go, Sandland looking to drive in on Miller. Bit of a better touch this time. Powell looking short side, goes for his winger, and up the hill there, up the slope, just can't quite find that ball. But Cambridge will get another penalty here. That's a few repeat sets they've gained here. A couple of penalties in a row, and I'd be wondering if I was the referee, if I needed to escalate things a little bit. But on come Missing and Jones. Still with Maynard and Powell. Powell running on that short line. Maynard around. Ball, I don't think that was meant for him. And the error from Cambridge gives CSSC the ball back and lets them off the hook a little bit to an extent.
Yeah, it certainly does. Just that crucial error on the final piece of play, and CSSC will be breathing a bit of sigh of relief as they can come forward now. Miller once again involved. He's had an interesting game to say the least, as he driving over the halfway line. Good yardage being built up. Here's King now.
King lays the platform for Simpson.
Lovely play. And
Simpson just
Will Simpson bursting through, but the touch comes in and turnover in possession.
And
3 minutes
left
remaining.
here. 2 to go. Cambridge really need a score here. And that is not what you want when you're 1 down with 2 to go. Cambridge under the pump here on their own try line. CSSC looking to press home their advantage. And a score here you'd think would probably kill the game, wouldn't you, Toby? Here's Marsh back inside to Simpson. Down for Marsh. King looking for the line. Simpson with the footwork. And a good defensive touch out there from Ollie Maynard. CSSC just happy to take their time between each roll ball here. Not in too much of a hurry to run any particular plays. And Marsh down for Simpson.
Can CSSC kill the game off? Surely a try for them now, and that would be a victory.
I have to say, I think
for
at the
the
moment
Londoners.
Cambridge are killing themselves with the penalties they're giving away on the line. Just giving CSSC a lot of ball time in this area of the pitch. And with the way the game's set up, you'd expect them to score at some point. Minutes left on the clock. Cambridge need a really big play here. Marsh to Simpson. Simpson down for Marsh. Marsh back to Simpson. Simpson on the outside, and I think a missed touch there. And Simpson gets over the line to arguably kill the game off and press home an advantage. CSSC 4, Cambridge 2. And you think that's probably the game here.
Yeah, Will Simpson just going in there, and CSSC 2's look to have got a win on the board against a strong Cambridge side. This is a good win, it looks like, for CSSC London with just a minute to go, maybe even less. Waiting for that Claxon. Sandlet, what can he do about it? And now here comes Powell. Powell slowing things down. He needs to try and create something, get a bit of momentum going. Here's Matty Maynard breaking through on the 5 metre line, slowing it back down to the left of him is Benjamin Powell. Benjamin Powell leaves it off with Maynard now, looking to go right, fakes it. Oh, and just stopped in his tracks once again by Daniel Wines, who's had a really good game.
Just can't find a way through Cambridge, can they?
Just can't, and there we go. That's the momentum and the opportunity lost, and the surely can only be.
And CSSC now just looking to drive the ball forward, complete the set, leave it as far away from their try line as possible, but
Only
not under a whole lot of
remaining
time pressure here, are they?
On the clock, can they drive forward? Can they even add another one? There goes the hooter. And here come the handshakes, and full time then. And it's CSSC London 2s who beat Cambridge in a low-scoring game by 4 points to 2. It was an intriguing game to say the least.
Yeah,
but it's a win
I'll be honest
for
with you,
CSSC
Brad, bit of
London
surprise
2s.
here.
And next up we'll see CSSC London 1s taking on Thames Valley Vikings. That'll be our next game of the day. Well, Will, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box once again.
Thanks for having me again. I'll see you next time.
We'll move on to our next game, so stay with us. 3 more games remaining then here in Oxford. Don't go anywhere. Pleasure, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers. Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah.